And boom, monkeys, we are live. Welcome back to the Crypto Boogie channel. Welcome back to the Tacos and Kimchi episode 5. Twinksters, hit it. What's poppin', Twinksters? What's going on in your neck of the woods, man? How's the doggos doing?
Yeah. Doggo's doing well, brother. Seems like we're starting to transition into spring up here in the Northeast. I know you and I were talking a little earlier, feeling a little bit under the weather. I don't know if it's allergies and stuff starting to pop through the ground and leaves starting to bud or what. But yeah, definitely felt like a little bit off my game today. But other than that, good, man. Obviously market's been doing some exciting things. We've had some swings up and down. I know we'll talk a little bit more about this as we get into some of the charts. Talking about, let's say, different zones for retracements and windows of time and the like. And did we see the retrace we're going to see? Do we got more moves on the table? I'll say at a very high level, one of the things I'm thinking at this point in time is don't screw up. Don't panic. Don't sell out of your bags too early at this point in time. The sooner you sell out of your bags, the more you're muting certain gains. Of course, not financial advice or the like, but I don't think it's time to worry about exiting out of good, solid projects and positions anytime soon. I think we got plenty of runway in front of us. Anyway, what's going on with you, Boogie?
I'm alive, man. I went to Mexico earlier today again to go get freaking meds for the doggos. I'm sure you can hear my doggo barking outside, if anything. You know what I'm saying? No, man. Let's check out the charts. Let's see what the charts entail. We also got a special token we want to talk about. It's called S-GOAT, the letter S, G-O-A-T. It's rather intriguing. At Twinksters, I know you're going to hit it up hard. I do have the chart for it, but there's not a lot of data for the sucker because it's only been out for like a day or two. So I'm looking at everything at the 1 hour chart. So that's kind of degen. But then again, who isn't degen that's in DeFi? Let's move. Go ahead.
So I won't mention the project here because I don't want people going into it. But you and I had talked about a side play a few weeks back. And I remember it's like, oh, I get to use the 1 second chart today. So.
Yeah, I remember that.
First time in a long time. Yeah.
I concur with the feeling. Well, let's move on to the memes. Let's see what the memes entail. I've only got one today, but I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny. Let's hit the sucker up. Let me see. Before I pull that sucker up, let's see. Where's my Twitter account? Let's see. Fabulous. Here we go. And here we go.
Coward. We have a new world to conquer. You make me sick. Leave me alone, please. Coward.
And Twinkie, that's right up the alley of what you were talking about, man.
Perfect.
Taking doggone cashing out too fast, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not time yet.
Yeah,
it's lined up perfect. But it's not time yet.
I agree. Now, monkeys, we've got 21 people in the chat. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and follow my homie, Angry Twinkie. His name is highlighted on here. The more likes we get, the more subscribes we get, the more it motivates us to get you this data. So let's move on to the first El Chardo, and we've got nothing other than freaking boring-ass Bitcoin, man. Dude, I feel like when I go look up the Bitcoin chart, I have to go clock into work, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's necessary, man. If you want to know what the rest of the market's doing or might be doing soon, you have to look at Bitcoin. And
yeah, you do.
I know, Boogie, you spend more time looking at charts than I do. We've talked about this. I generally look at some support resistance levels, maybe a few easy trend lines or whatever. I just personally like to spend my time doing other things aside from some cryptocurrency investments and the like. But you at least got to keep in tune with the pulse of Bitcoin. Otherwise, you don't know potentially alt season coming, what else might be coming, where Bitcoin dominance might be headed or the like. So yeah, always got to at least acknowledge the seniority and position of Bitcoin in the market.
I agree, man. I agree, bro. And shout out to Karn. He's the first person in the chat. Let's hit it. Boomer BTC. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. But let's hit up the chart. Let's see what's entailing from this. Now, I was talking to you, Twinksters, a couple days ago. I described it to you over the phone, but I don't think you were getting a visual concept. Of course, Megan, it's difficult to explain a chart via voice. I actually got to show you the chart so you can see what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I'm talking about waves, candles, engulfing candles, ascending, descending triangles, flags, Fibonacci level stuff, right? And okay, for people who've been following your charting or other folks charting in the community, we can kind of paint the picture in our brain a little bit. To everyone else, you just sound like a lunatic.
Yeah, I agree. And gents, this is what I was talking to about Mr. Twinkster's current value is about 66,700 of Bitcoin. Now, if we notice this giant ass, let me go ahead and zoom into it a little bit more. You see this giant ass candle right here when we hit the bottom?
Yes, sir.
That candle usually entails, it's called the bullish engulfing candle. It usually entails a market reversal. Now, in order for that market reversal to play out, we would need to compromise this area over here of about 73,794. But from what I'm seeing, that may be the end of the 60-day cycle right there. And that would put us exactly at 57 days. Now, mind you, this is not guaranteed and this is not financial advice. But I am assuming since we're bouncing off this box and we haven't freaking gone lower than this bullish engulfing candle, which usually signifies a reversal, we're probably ascending into a new cycle. Now, mind you, if we dip below that candle at least 1 cent, that means that we probably have a little bit more to go on the 60-day cycle. Let's say we do keep on going. We'd be at about day 61 right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's look at the classic EMA ribbon I love to utilize. And look at that shit, son. You could see that we went halfway into the EMA ribbon and we bounced out of it. And you see the EMA ribbon spreading, which entails there's going to be volatility to the upside. So I am assuming by this data that I'm getting that we should be going to the upside and compromising this area, and this would be the beginning of a new 60-day cycle. Now let's look at it on the doggone weekly. Let me pull this sucker back so I can tell you exactly what I'm talking about. And let's put another chart up on the weekly. Here it is. And this sucker's on the weekly. Zoom out a little bit, and you can see we've already established the Elliott wave cycle on this bad boy. Let me go ahead and turn this off so you guys can see that. Let me see. You can see that we started off down here as wave 1. We came down. That was wave 2. We shot back up from here to here, and then this wick to the downside enabled wave 4 as we start trending up into the 5th portion of the Elliott wave. I think Charlie has a little bit different. He's got an extended Elliott wave, but as per the rules of the Elliott wave, which are only SOPs, standard operating procedures, they're not set in stone. They can be manipulated a little bit, and sometimes they could change up a little bit because nothing's perfect in the crypto market. Nothing ever plays out textbook. Kind of like when you box, man. You'll throw your jab correct. You'll throw your hook correct. You'll apply footwork correct. But sometimes, man, how awkward your opponent is, bro, will freaking throw all your freaking training out the window because, dude, life is not perfect. Kind of like the same way crypto charts or any type of stock charts are not perfect. The rules do not always apply 100%. So if I turn this sucker back on, you could see that we dove back into the 4th portion of the Elliott wave, and we're probably going to climb up into price discovery. Now, mind you, again, I have to be redundant about this because motherfuckers would be like, nah, Boogie said we're freaking, that's it. End of the 60-day cycle. Nah, homie. Nah, dude. It may end up coming back to the downside, or it may come back down to the downside, and the 60-day cycle will extend. Remember, you got to be able to freaking turn on a dime if you need to, man. Now, I did draw up this freaking corrective pattern of 0 ABC. That may play out. It may not play out. I don't think it will, bro, especially as we approach the halving. Twinksters, can you pull up the BTC chart for the halving, bro?
Yeah. The one I've been showing off and on in the background the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Or
Pull that sucker up so I can show these cats what's coming inbound. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Let me hop over. Give me a second here. So
we got my amigo here, Tex-Mex, the hardest working trucker in America. What's up, Boogie? And Mr. Angry Twinkie.
So I'm waiting this to come in here for a minute here. Just some other background details I can mention while just some logging into this thing here is I know MicroStrategy's dipped like 15% the other day when BTC dipped below 65,000. It was bought up fairly quickly on that, so that turned around pretty quickly. Gotta love Sailor Moon. The dude's got You know, he jokes, not really jokes, right? What is it? Was it Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu? And he was saying, you know, the whole conviction meme, right? The dude just keeps buying more. I got to respect that. He doesn't care if he's buying tops or bottoms. He has said before, you do not sell your Bitcoin. As far as anyone else can seem to tell, he has not sold a shred of his Bitcoin. Other stuff too, just some other background information. Oh, Sailor had a great quote last week. Volatility is vitality when it came to Bitcoin. And let's see, everything else. Oh, Grayscale also had their highest recorded outflows last week, which probably contributed to a little bit of some of the overall selling pressures on that front.
Cool, man. Cool. That's always good data to have, man. It's a badass thing about having a homie that does fundamental analysis while you run your technical analysis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me hop over to one of my ranges charts here. Cool. All right, let me make sure I'm safe to share this out and don't accidentally fully dox myself on this thing. And let me just get over here.
Let's see what the market entails tomorrow on a Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is looking crazy over here. I'm gonna accidentally turn on a couple of indicators I didn't mean to turn on.
I can go ahead and show the Bitcoin chart a little bit more on the weekly while you pull that up.
Yeah. Let me just make sure I'm getting in on this thing.
Yeah, I got it. Let me drop some more data on the Bitcoin chart while you prep that. My bad, cats. I know I asked Twinksters to freaking check that out. Well, on the fly, he may not have had that prepped. And going back to the weekly, man, you could see that we still have that EMA ribbon. One of the things that can occur, bro. Of course, this is not likely. I'm not assuming this will happen, but you saw that we already touched the fourth portion of the Elliott wave here. We can shrink back down to this area of about 44,000, and that would be halfway through our EMA ribbon, if anything. So if we jump back down here, that I would like that. I know a lot of freaking hexagons and the pulsicans and a lot of freaking Bitcoin maxis and Ethereum dudes probably be losing their mind. I would think it'd be a great buying opportunity, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But that could be one of the range of possibilities that can occur. So food for thought, monkeys. That is also something that can happen with the BTC chart. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and go ahead and add what Twinksters has up for me to show. Let me go and freaking take this shit off. And I'm going to add this to the stage, Twinksters.
Yeah.
Ready?
Good to go. Yep. Send it. Cool. All right. So I've got prior halvings indicated.
I'm going to run and adjust the AC really quick, Twinkie, while you explain that.
Yeah, no problem. So for anyone maybe who hasn't seen this, Boogie and I have talked about this a little bit off and on over the last several weeks. I've got some different halvings marked here, and it's generally halving to the corresponding cycle high for that interval. Obviously, the timing around the first, let's say, halving's a little different. It's kind of our 0 to 1 moment in my estimation. I always go back and forth to what extent I should take data into consideration from this period of time when it comes to the rest of Bitcoin's history. And then I have marked each corresponding halving out on this particular one, looking at potential exit windows based on them. I've simplified this a little bit based on some prior intervals. Also here on the bottom in purple, I've got some indicators for when we broke the prior all-time high to reaching corresponding 4-year cycle high. So that gives us a few different areas of confluence coming up for late this year, early next year, potentially October, November, December. I think once we start getting into September, it's really all hands on deck. You are going to want to be paying attention to what the market is doing at that point in time. I don't think it's going to be time to exit per se by then, but I am looking for potentially cycle high indicators going into the final calendar quarter of the year. Potentially needing to exit off the dance floor early next year. Again, it's not plan A. We still got a lot of time to go. This cycle, as far as I can see, is a little bit different. I'm not seeing a number of indicators that necessarily make me think retail is showing up en masse yet. So to me, most of the current pump is driven by institutional investment into Bitcoin. And we are starting to see some rotations elsewhere. Certainly, I think a number of people rotated some gains into Solana. I think the next rotation we're going to witness, especially in the meme coin sector, is going to end up being stuff like Base. But coming back around to this particular chart, was there something in specifically you want to eyeball on this one, Boogie?
Let me check. Let me make that shit a little bit bigger. Let's see. What do we got in the chart? You want to? Okay, that's good. I am noticing that we're pushing up on that doggone channel that you drew up. Can you point to that, Twingsters?
Yeah, let me blow this up a little bit here.
Oh, yeah,
So
your
this,
cursor.
yeah, this was a
We
channel that we had drawn out a few weeks back, just looking at some different cases based on timing. Richard had previously mentioned, hey, maybe there's like a 240K argument in there. We seem to be holding the bottom of that channel pretty well, continues to be up and to the right. We're bouncing a little bit on the upper end of things. To me, that's fine. It's healthy. Where are we at right now for BTC? 66.7, almost creeping up on 66.8. I think is what we're creeping up on right now. So we've talked about this. Having a little price action, a little horizontal crabbing is generally good to build out a scaffold and ladder on the way up as well as on the way down. So seems to be holding pretty well within this channel, bouncing continually upward and to the right. We'll see if we get some sort of further drawdown on this. I know typically, shout out to Rec Capital, who really helps out and shortcuts a lot of my stuff. I certainly want to give them some credit on that one, or whomever that individual, some credit on that one. We're kind of in that pre-having retrace zone. We are seeing some increases in red candles on some of these movements. So we'll see where we ultimately end up. I continue to DCA in a little bit every week on this, and I do want to stress a little bit. Personally, my strategy is I run a time-based DCA on select tokens I think are going to continue to do well. And then I have a cannonball on the side that I like to load up and chuck at certain projects as they dip more. So, for example, if Pulse Chain dips or, Dot dips or anything, I've got solid long-term conviction in, and I'm going to anticipate needing to hold for ideally at least a year, contingent upon the market. I'm chasing those long-term capital gains rates on this stuff. Then, yeah, I got no qualms about putting a time-based DCA in. Now, that said, the majority of my bags were packed back here as we were dealing with some potential cycle lows and some bottoms on that. So hopefully you all had the opportunity to pack a good chunk of your bags. I think we'll continue to have some opportunities as we see some periodic dips. I think dips are a gift from the crypto powers that be on that one.
I concur, Twingsters. I completely agree. I think that if we do dip again, it's more of a blessing. If anything, man, if it does occur, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be dope if we do get another dip. As I mentioned in the earlier chart below, or in the earlier chart I had presented, I am hoping we go down to 44. Of course, I'm not expecting that, but I'll probably be throwing in a little bit more capital if that does happen, man. I mean, those dips are few and far between, bro. We probably won't get a lot unless a black swan events, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and pull up the next freaking chart for the next token. And this is one that recently came out. Twingster's got a little bit of deets on this, and this is the S-Goat freaking doggone token on Dex Screener. And if I put it, it's only been out for about about 5 or 6 days. So I'd have to put the sucker on the 4-hour to see how it's doing. If it does come below this line right here, man, of about 69 cents, I'll probably throw in a little bit more. It does look like a promising token. I know he's marketing it a lot via Twitter. I think it's intriguing, and I like the fact that it is on the Phantom network. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So the Phantom Goat here, as he or she or it or they are called on Twitter. I know for this particular token, it's kind of seems to be a solid homegrown meme token on this. I'm just going to call him the GOAT, him or her, whomever, the GOAT. Must be nice, and it's at the Phantom, Phantom GOAT, at the Phantom GOAT. I'll dump it in chat here in a second. As far as this one, has a posted wallet address and has also posted the contract address on Twitter, stating they've got 2 centralized exchange listings confirmed inbound on this stuff. As of earlier, was saying tomorrow is going to be sexy, CEXY, sexy on that one. Made me laugh with some dry humor over there. Boogie, can you share out my screen for a hot second here on this?
Absolutely. Let's hit it up.
Cool. So I pulled up the Phantom Goat's posted address, and I'm going to assume this person actually has this entity, has this wallet. 181 million and some change in the Phantom ecosystem. Must be nice, right? So I think if this is a real wallet address, and Mr. or Mrs. Goat, if you're out there watching, I will be picking up some of your token in the near future. I think it's very amusing, entertaining, and the like.
I need
For
that
the
dip,
chat.
Twinkie. I need that dip, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I might, I might put 20% of what I was going to put into it and, just work around that. But yeah, like 180 and some change, 180 mil and some change on the Phantom network on that. You can find this on Equalizer for anyone who's looking for it. Karn saying, super hyper Phantom on this. So the Phantom Goat seems to have some hands in a few different projects, also stating that the Goat is the owner of Tomb Plus. I know Karn was around for some of the Tomb shenanigans. Now they're calling, Tomb Plus. It's
Dude, watch it be Harry Ye, bro.
Dude, I would laugh my ass off if it's Big Daddy Warbucks Harry A.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, so Tomb Plus, not necessarily like, Tomb, whatever, but Tomb Plus here is going to be converting to name in plus.bet. It will be an online casino on the Phantom network. They also have used or are partnering with the Winner Protocol. They're saying, hey, everything's going to be super quick, slick, on chain on this stuff. Let me hop over to their site. Win big, bet big, win big, plus have fun. Decentralized on-chain casino, betting directly through wallet, settled instantly, no middleman, no KYC, no tampering, no bullshit. I know a lot of folks in the Moon Gang and the Hex Gang and Pulse Chain communities, having been out with them and seeing some of them at the craps table. Some folks like to gamble, man. So I think it'll be an interesting fit for some different folks. I know we've got some overlap for folks who like Pulse Chain community, Hex, Phantom, and like obviously Phantom has been on a tear. Phantom no chill on this, but with somebody like the Phantom Goat pumping it and said, hey, I'll make my own meme coin. Let's do this for shits and giggles. So again, you can find it over here on Equalizer, ticker SGOAT. We'll throw up some contract addresses in the chat, and you can find it again at the Phantom Goat on Twitter or the like. You can see in this LP running about 100% APR, 581 some change thousand locked up in the LP.
Damn, son.
Yep. And so there are potentially different pools throughout Phantom. I'm assuming here that the Goat seeded this one, his or herself, to start on this. And let's see here. Looking at some other APRs over here at Equalizer that I haven't looked at in a hot minute. To be honest with you, I haven't really been paying attention to Equalizer in quite some time. But they have stuff like single-sided deposits with 150% APR. I'm not necessarily one who blindly chases APR. I learned my lesson in 21 doing stuff like that. So, but I will take a look at this. So, single-sided deposit, 100% APR, even on some other things like depositing Axel USDC, 75% APR, especially if it's paid back like in an Equalizer token. That to me is pretty interesting. But anyway, go check out SGOAT. Go follow the Phantom Goat on Twitter. Seems to certainly have a lot of financial firepower on this stuff. Also owns the Tomb Plus stuff, which is becoming plus.bet. It'll be online casino and Phantom. A lot of cool, slick stuff coming up on the Phantom network.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up his Twitter account, bro, so you cats can see who he is. I think I got him right here. I'm going to go pull this sucker up. Let me start my cam. Let's see. Vamos a ver. Good. This is his Twitter, by the way. And let me drop his Twitter account here on the chat, so you monkeys can go ahead and ape into his Twitter account. I'm waiting for a dip, though. You know what I'm saying? Once a dippo goes live, I'll be buying some freaking SGOAT. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll probably be pretty damn marketable. So, Twinklers, from my understanding, this is more of a meme token, if anything.
Yes, sir. That is my current understanding. Obviously meme tokens have had quite the run the last few days on a lot of this stuff. So it's looking pretty interesting to have what looks like to be a homegrown Phantom meme token on some of this stuff.
Cool. Now, since we're already starting to talk about the cool shit, let's continue with the cool shit. And we've got the fragrance of the day. Twinksters, I know you love this shit. You know what I'm saying? You've been educated so much by all the freaking data I drop on fragrance. And the fragrance of the day is an affordable one. It's about 40 or 50 bucks, give or take, depending if you can get it for cheap on FragranceNet or at a cheap price at your local perfumery. It is an evening time fragrance. Do not be rocking this in freaking California, Texas, Arizona, Nevada during the hot summer day, but rock it when you go to the club at night, man, if it's not a hot evening. And we've got Coach Platinum. This sucker smells a little bit like, how would I say it, man? A little bit of a hazelnut freaking scent to it, bro. I've gotten a lot of compliments with it, and it is a little bit of a cheapie, bro. 50, 60 bucks. You can't beat it, bro. And there is also some other ones. There's a blue one, and I think they just made a green one as well. But this is probably the best one out of them all, man, if anything. I do like it a lot. It's got a feature here where you could actually freaking turn off the atomizer by twisting it. I'm sure you could see that, right, Twinksters?
Yeah, that's a cool, actual convenient feature. Make sure you don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
sort of
It's
bleed.
got a little freaking, it's got a little dog tag thingy as well. I mean, I don't give a shit about that, bro. I mean, I care about the juice. If the juice smells good, bro, I'll be rocking it and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So again, when we go end up meeting in Vegas, I expect everybody in the Moon Gang to smell like me. And next time we go out there, you know what I'm saying, Twinksters? Now,
Yeah.
Twinksters, I got a question, man. How did you find out about my freaking hidden gem of a fragrance, Mercedes-Benz Club Black? Who told you about that shit?
The lady at the counter. So up in my neck of the woods, there is a really nice outlet mall, and they got outlets for stuff like Gucci, Columbia sportswear. The list just kind of goes on and on for like different designer stuff, up through like Williams Sedona, like you name it, right? Like it's an outlet mall is what it is. So you already get the discounted stuff for outlet mall, and then a lot of times they have 2-for-1 type deals throughout the mall. Plus, where I am, there is no sales tax, so it's like no reason to not go there if you're looking for a number of let's say more premium type things. Anyway, what was I in? I was in there for. I was in there to I think top up on Dolce and Gabbana. The one. It's typically my go-to on that one.
Okay. Twinksters knows this shit, bro. I had no idea you had that, man. That is a good one, bro.
Yeah. You know what it is, man? It's like, to me, that's kind of up my alley, right? We've talked about this. Just because you like it doesn't mean other people like it, right? And vice versa. Other people may love that fragrance on you. You may hate it. It is what it is, right? We just kind of navigate it. But yeah, that's usually one of my go-tos on that one. And the lady working the counter was like, oh, here's one for you. You might want to check this out. She mentioned the Mercedes-Benz, the black one, kind of like got a vanilla note to it. I was like, yeah, sure. Just, chuck it in the bag. Why not? Kind of building out a little bit of a collection on that front.
Yeah, cats. So food for thought. Now, be advised, I can't really see the juice on this bottle because, of course, it's a platinum bottle. Not to talk too much about fragrance. I don't know if the juice is dark. So if you rock this shit, man, on a white shirt, bro, make sure you take a step back and don't spray too damn close. You may want to put it on your skin, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Or if you got some freaking white shirts at home, some T-shirts that you like to use around the house, spray the white T-shirts first. Make sure it doesn't screw up your really nice shirts, bro. Like I got a real nice freaking taco shirt that I like a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like it to get stained. Freaking taco shirt. You put this on the wrong place, they'll think it's armpit sweat. You know what I'm saying? Because of the stains. So food for thought, monkeys. I learned that from the late Kevin Samuels. He taught me about that shit. He said, dude, you got to check your freaking juice on your fragrances before you apply it, dude, because it will fuck up a lot of your high-end freaking clothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The reactivity.
Yeah. All right. Now, I want to continue this shit fun. Let's move on to a little bit of Jewel. Now, the reason I'm going to show you monkeys Jewel is because it's still at an affordable price. If you guys saw Miguel's last stream, he did make mention that Jewel will likely be moving, or DeFi Kingdoms will be migrating over to Metis or starting a new expansion on Metis. I have to do a little bit more research to find out. Jewel's current value is at about 22 cents. That's where it's at right now. And it's been trending within this box for a little while. Now, mind you, Jewel is a more of a risky play than Illuvium is. Illuvium's a safer play. So food for thought, monkeys. If you ape into this token, understand there is a possibility of getting wrecked. There was beef, not beef. Well, yeah, there was beef. You could say it was beef. Because in DeFi Kingdoms, something that's very popular within the community are the Gen Zero heroes. Gen Zero heroes are NFTs, and they can't be re-replicated. There's only a certain amount in circulation, and you can breed them endlessly with each other and create Gen 1 heroes. There is a cooldown timer on the Gen 0 heroes as to when you can breed them and create more Gen 1s, and then you can dump the Gen 1s on the market. Well, the team, what they were considering doing is nerfing it up a little bit and making the timers shorter on the breeding for the Gen 0s. And that pissed off a lot of people because it would end up devaluing a lot of the NFTs or the Gen 1s or the Gen 2s. And because you'd get more of them in the market. So people were kind of pissed about that shit. Well, people who were holding mostly Jewel and had it staked had the opportunity of voting against that. And I'm glad the community won, man. But understand, even though DeFi Kingdoms is a great product, I think it's an amazing game. There's a lot of features the game has. Sometimes, man, the people who work on the tokenomics or the gaming aspect of it can nerf it in a negative way. So food for thought, monkeys. This is a risky token. Again, as stated, being redundant, current value is at 23 cents. If we activate our EMA ribbon on this bad boy, you could see that we are getting the red portion of the EMA ribbon to the top side and the yellow portion to the bottom side. What does that mean? That means that we are slightly bearish. Then you see this giant blue line on top of the current green candle, and that entails the 200 EMA, which is acting as an area of resistance to the upside. If I pull the MACD up, for you guys that don't know, MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. And you're like, what the fuck is that, Boogie? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? I'll explain it to you. The red line, whenever it's above the blue line, that means we're trending in a downward fashion. Whenever the blue line's above the red line, that means we're in a bullish fashion. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend, if you guys want to get this token, go over to CoinGecko. I don't have that prep for you cats, and type in DeFi Kingdoms, and you will get the link there. Do not type it in manually. Go over to freaking DeFi Kingdoms on CoinGecko, and then go ahead and access the website there if you guys want to ape into the freaking Jewel ecosystem, if anything. Now, if I activate the Bollinger Band, that's the wrong one. Let's see the B. Here you go. You can see that we have room to travel to the downside, and possibly the first standard deviation, which would be 18 cents, or hopefully down here to 18.96. I would like to get a dip down there, test it to see if it'll run back up. But there is room that could run to the downside. Now, mind you, if you don't hold a big bag of this and you don't care much for freaking GameFi or DeFi Kingdoms, if this does run, you could use this to cultivate your crypto, especially if it does a solid run. As of recent, about a month, about a month and a half ago, we did run up over here to this price value of about 84 cents, give or take. So, and then about 2-3 weeks ago, we did run up again, up to about 77 cents. So this does have potential to run, man. And Jewel is completely 100% deflationary. There is only a set amount of tokens out in circulation, and there will not be more. The only freaking tokens that are not freaking deflationary is the crystal token and the jade token. And those are kind of like the ink token. You're supposed to dump them on the market, or you could use them to buy freaking Gen Zeros or pets or whatever it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, cats. That is the alpha on DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah, so a couple other things there. We'll see what the long-term impact is on DFK and like, but I know Clayton and I think it's pronounced Finsha. Anyone out in chat want to correct me, feel free, or is familiar with this one. But I know they had a proposal to merge, and as part of that proposal passing, on paper, the organizations were claiming that based on that combo, it will then become the largest layer 1 ecosystem for Asia. That was about a month ago that passed. As far as some other, let's say, DFK, DeFi Kingdoms type specifics, which maybe drives some further adoption in the future. I know Sphere 1 set up a new on-ramp about, 10 days ago, I think, 10, 15 days ago. For Crystal Vale, it's down on the docks, so additional mechanism to onboard through a credit or debit card. I think they're in over like 125, 150 countries as far as support. So if you're looking to on-ramp into that environment, ape at your own discretion, unlike, but certainly they've got 4 or 5 separate on-ramps at this point in time back to the DFK ecosystem.
Yeah, the other day I actually used a Synapse protocol to bridge in AVAX, bro. And the funny thing is this, dude, food for thought. I was stumped a little bit because when I bridged in AVAX from AVAX to the DFK chain, I couldn't find my AVAX on the other side. So I actually had to type in on Google and I had to type an AVAX contract address on DeFi Kingdoms, and it took me officially to their page, and I picked up the data there, and that's how I input it into my system. You know what I'm saying? So food for thought, monkeys. That's one of the problems you may encounter, but it was relatively fast utilizing the AVAX network instead of using the Ethereum network if you use Synapse protocol. You know what I'm saying? All right. So since we covered DeFi Kingdoms and we dropped some alpha, we got my homie here, freaking larger than in charge. For your information, they said they wouldn't nerf them. Okay, cool. That's a badass thing. I hope they don't freaking do that again, bro, because, dude, that really demotivated a lot of people. And that's when the descending into the bottom portion of the bear market happened with DFK because of that bearish news. Speaking of GameFi, let's move on to a little bit of ILV. Where is freaking ILV at, son? Boom. ILV. Current value is at $129.56. A couple days ago, I think about 4 or 5 days ago, it came down here to about 113, and I managed to catch it on a wick. I did post on Twitter that I was buying ILV, and I did mention that there was a possibility for ILV to run down here to about 106 or 105. Fortunately, that was a good call I did. And since then, we've freaking went up over here to the upside, and we've closed officially about an hour and 40 minutes ago for the week. So we're above this freaking this resistance line, and we're now using it as support. And that resistance line is $121, give or take. Now, in order for us to continue to the upside, it does seem that dip right there on the day that I called it, from the time we are now, has been approximately 5 days. So we are at the fifth portion of our 5th day of our 20-day cycle. If I push this sucker out all the way to day 14, that would be April 3rd as the next time when we may get another dip on Illuvium. And who knows if we'll dip below 121 again. Now, I can also push it out to day 21, which is also a very good possibility, and that will put us exactly on April 10th. So food for thought, monkeys. That is the current situation with ILV. If I activate our EMA ribbon on this sucker, yep, we're bouncing on the top portion of that freaking ribbon as support. Twinksters, do you have anything to add in reference to ILV?
So I know Kieran Warwick was saying, gaming will rip next week. This was like last week, 10 days ago, and I didn't personally see it. So maybe he was expecting something else on that front. My suspicion here is that maybe Kieran was expecting an announcement at the NVIDIA GTC conference, which is the big AI conference. I know folks from, I think it was Render and Near were speaking at that conference. A little bit of alpha here. One of the projects I'm investing is this, investigating is a better term on this, is this project called Axon DAO. As a result of some of the things said at that Axon DAO, it merges my interest between some aspects of the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as overall healthcare, which is more in my daytime hustle on that front. I know in this particular case, there's a little bit of quick tangent on that, so you can check it out yourself. It's AXON DAO, if anyone wants to eyeball and investigate that. That's not a recommendation or endorsement or anything like that. Just caught my attention as kind of being an intersection of healthcare and blockchain stuff. Coming back around to gaming, and the way we got there was ILV, Kieran, gaming, no gaming rip, but there was that NVIDIA GTC. Not directly an ILV thing, but I know IMX, Polygon, and one other entity that I'm drawing a blank on at the moment, I'm sure it'll come to me a little later, is they signed like $100 million joint venture deal for, I believe, Web3 gaming. It is, I'd have to go eyeball who that is, but I do recall seeing that pseudo announcement on that front for IMX, who's basically got a great, I believe it's technically an L2 wallet layer that is integrated with Illuvium, and it's worked beautifully the handful of times I use it to buy some NFT stuff over there. So I didn't see that gaming rip Kieran was talking about. I'm thinking he was expecting an announcement from another party that didn't come forward. Certainly we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled. I personally continue to DCA into ILV. Ideally it goes a little lower and I get the opportunity to scoop some up. I will not name this person's name. I know you got a periodic joint viewer who tunes to some of your streams and I streams. I know for a fact this Madre fornicator, his average purchase price is like $38 on ILV. The dude's got a bag. I was like, all right, man, cool. I hope it works out beautifully for you.
Yeah. You and I were talking about this earlier last week, Twinksters. We were talking about Solana and that Jupiter airdrop that we had gotten. I had mentioned to you. I was sitting there, bro, and I know a lot of cats within the crypto space. They say, you know what? I'm going to put 5% into my L1s. I'm going to do 30% into the Hex ecosystem. I'm going to do freaking 50% into Ethereum. I'm going to do 1% into memes. I don't really look at it that way. So I was stuck between, you know what, price go up. So I chose Illuvium over Solana. And I was like, do I buy Solana even though the VCs are into it, or do I buy Illuvium? I'm like, hey, dude, I don't really give a shit if it's an L1 or not. I care about number go up. And that's why I chose Illuvium over Solana. And I know they have no correlation to each other whatsoever. But the correlation that I did have is that they had very close price values, bro. During the bear market, Solana went down to about $19, and Illuvium retested that $34 area. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I'll go into Illuvium. I'll take that over Solana any day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't want to steal anyone's thunder here. I know you and I have talked about and seen some estimations by different community members about what the future of ILV might hold. Yeah, I'm very bullish on Solana, even if they're only, let's say, a quarter right of what they're thinking. Illuvium, very bullish on Illuvium, even if they're only a quarter right of what they're thinking. That'll be some nice gains still to be had, even if you're getting in now. That train has not left the station. You might not have prime time optimal seating, but that train has not left the station. There's still time to get on that one.
Dude, and it's at a great value, bro. 130. Okay, look at Solana. Solana's like about 180 to 190 right now. And Illuvium is at about freaking 130. I would still choose Illuvium today, bro. Going back to that chart for you people that are new here, give this video a like. I hate being redundant, man. I'm looking at my YouTube freaking screen on here and I see 0 likes. Like the freaking video, monkeys. We're dropping you some alpha. We did some research for you cats. Make sure you guys follow my homie here, Mr. Angry Twinkie. But let's go back to the ILV chart and shout out to my amigo, Agent J from the DGen Roundtable. We went ahead and we drew up a Fibonacci retracement on freaking doggone ILV. And I want you cats to see exactly how far up it can go. Let me put this bad boy on the weekly. And last time, ILV's all-time high was approximately $19.55. Yes, I said it correctly. $1,955 a token. If we pull this sucker up, I am expecting at least for it to run up to $4,000 in between these two Fibonacci lines of 1.618 and 2.618. Of course, you guys can see this red line over here of about $9,000. It's very possible, depending as to how freaking Ethereum does, that ILV can run up to about $9,000 bucks. You know what I'm saying? So food for thought. I know some of you cats are really bullish on Solana. ILV may be the better option. Not financial advice, and Boogie's not telling you to do this, but that's just the choices that I'm going with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've basically, my Solana bag has been packed for a while on this stuff. So I've just been yielding through staking on that. Last I looked, Solana has an infinite supply, not necessarily on demand, but in the sense that it's an inflationary token with no theoretical max supply to it under current conditions. Can they always change that in the future? Sure. You know, get all the validators and the like to flip over. Okay, fine. But currently it is, again, last I looked, completely inflationary, where as I recall, ILV, I want to say capped at 9 million tokens. Somebody can cross-check me on that, but I thought it was around 9 million on that.
Oh,
So,
is
yeah,
that,
with
and
you.
it's
I think ILV
now
is a better buy.
deflationary, bro? Like they've already dropped all the tokens on the market?
I don't know if they're all out or fully available. Let me just hop over to their site real quick. I don't think it's fully out until July 25. So about a year left to go on that one.
Roger that. All right, cats. Now, since we covered the GameFi aspect of this shit, let's move on over to freaking the next token, which I think is still at a good value because his last bear run, I bought this motherfricker at about 16 cents, and it went up all the way to about 94 cents in some charts and 98 cents in some charts. That's none other than Crow, the CRO token. if Jewel is ever to get listed on an exchange in the West, I am expecting the Crypto.com exchange to be the first one to freaking list it because they've got the most tokens than anybody else. And you can see that the current value is at approximately 14 cents. And it does seem, if we take our measuring tool here, that we are approximately 5 days into its 20-day cycle. It hasn't really ran yet. It does need to compromise the first area, so about 16 cents and 90% of a penny. And then it would need to come up over here to 18 cents and 53% of a penny and hold it there for about a week before we can use it to run to the upside. Now, what I'm liking about this shit, this little freaking upside down freaking arch that you monkeys are seeing, that usually can be used as support and resistance. You know what I'm saying? So if we break above, hold this spot, we will eventually develop this area of about 17 cents, give or take, as an area of support. Historically, let me put this sucker on the weekly. And you guys can see where I had bought some and where I had sold some, bro, last freaking bear market. You could see that the high point on this bad boy was actually about 95 cents. So food for thought, monkeys. This may, especially if you cats don't really want to get into a new project, Jewel and Crow can be one of those tokens that helps you cultivate the rest of your other bags. You know what I'm saying? Instead of buying tops on freaking Solana and all that other shit, or tops on freaking Ethereum, you could use some of these tokens to go ahead and cultivate your crypto, or transition it over to the other tokens you really want with pumpamentals that could end up occurring from it. You know what I'm saying? Twinksters, you got anything on this bad boy?
Yeah, actually, I do. There's some real exciting stuff coming out for Crow actually this week. So around Tuesday, 3 a.m. Eastern, I believe it's technically Monday going into Tuesday. I'll pull some dates after this one. It's this week, or at least it's currently scheduled for this week. They have the mainnet version 1.1 update. They're calling it their Titan upgrade, as I recall. I flipped through this over the weekend. As I recall, RPCs should be around 70 to 80% faster on function calls and responding to requests. I know they've got some overall synchronization and snapshot improvement on that front. Last I looked, they were claiming block execution to be roughly 10 times faster. Database reduction size of about 60-something%. So I know there's like a lot of talk about Phantom and Sonic and anyone who's kind of been sticking around, they have to make these progressive updates to keep users on chain or improve the quality and usefulness of that chain. I believe they got a few other updates they're starting to introduce in the background, like they're calling it CRC 21, which will enhance some cross-chain transfers. I believe that's coming out this week, or at least they're laying the groundwork for it this week. There'll be native Chronos token transfers. There's also plans to allow smart contracts to act like user accounts. So potentially there's more use cases and more utility for forthcoming apps, decentralized apps on Cosmos. So yeah, pretty solid update forthcoming this week for Chronos. Again, I believe that comes out at Tuesday around 3 a.m. Eastern. It's like 7 a.m. UTC, which is, I think, 3 Eastern on that one. So, yeah, exciting week on that front. So maybe there's a little bit of a narrative in play on that one, or we'll see how that update goes later this week.
So, I mean, of course, that's always great alpha. If anything, man, I think CRO is going to do really good. And I think that a lot of people are going to use that exchange to ape into the market, if anything. Not only that, man, the name of the exchange is crypto.com, for crying out loud, man. You tell somebody, hey, did you buy crypto? Like, yeah. Well, which crypto did you buy? Crypto.
I bought USDC. Why isn't it going up?
Yeah. No, I bought crypto. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, crypto.com. That's what they're referring to. I remember last bull market, people were saying that shit. Oh, yeah, I bought crypto. Yeah, but which one? Crypto. And they were referring to the Crow token, dude. Of course.
Yeah.
We're talking about boots here, and we're talking about freaking newbies, if anything. Now, I know you monkeys want to know what's going on with Pulse Chain. Let's go over the daily on Pulse Chain, and I'll freaking drag it over, and we'll check how it's doing on the weekly as well. As you guys can see, we were trending within this channel, and then we broke out of the channel here on about March 16th, and currently we hit the bottom portion of the support area of about 3 zeros and a 1085. Current value is 3 zeros and a 1152. According to what I'm seeing here, if I pull this sucker up today or yesterday, because now we're in UTC time, it may be that yesterday was the end of its 20-day cycle. Not guaranteed, not financial advice. I do know that there's a lot of FUD going on within the pulse chain community, so it may end up going further into day 21. That would put us a little bit at about March 27th, give or take. But I think we're pretty much fine. Of course, I'm not guaranteeing it. Next area that we do need to compromise is 3 zeros and a 1 2 before we fight our way back in here into this channel of about 3 zeros and a 1642. If I turn on my moving average 10, 100, 50, and 200, you can see that we're utilizing the 100 moving average, this dark blue line here at the bottom, as an area of support for the current candle that's printing. And then we have the 10-day moving average, which is this lighter blue line acting as an area of resistance, which is sandwiching in the current candle and which way it's going. Now, if we check this sucker out on the weekly, let's see how the sucker looks on the weekly, son. Can you see my chart, Twinksters?
Yes, sir.
Boom. And this is it on the weekly. Let me turn off the Bollinger Band. You can see that we are bouncing within this somewhat of a channel. And it does seem the new candle is printing a little bit bearish to the downside, but on the weekly, of course, be advised. This does not give us enough data to tell which way it's going because we have not started the new week yet. Well, we have, maybe about an hour and 55 minutes ago as per UTC time. But that's not enough data to see if we're going to continue growing within this area. If we activate our moving averages, our Bollinger Band, we do have this 20-day moving average within the freaking weekly acting as an area of support here of 3 zeros and a 1007. And if we activate, and if we've got the rest of the freaking lines on right now as well, but it's not freaking popping up because this weekly isn't giving us enough data. Next area we would need to go in order for us to continue bullish would be here at about 3 zeros and a 2053. And the all-time high for Pulse Chain would be about 3 zeros and a 2912, if anything. That's all I got for Pulse Chain. Twinksters, you've got some fundamental analysis on this shit, right?
Yeah. I've been taking a little bit of heat in a few chats, on this one, but screw it. Let's talk about it. So one, for anyone who's up last night, I think we saw some interesting price action. I do not personally track the SAC wallets, but one of the chats I was in, there were some claims that some of the SAC wallets were defending the Pulse price last night. I'm willing to bet that lines up with a certain Fibonacci level or in somewhere in the ballpark as well. Anyway, seems like the OA or SAC wallets are defending that price pretty solidly. So for folks who follow Richard Hart, I know the other day, might have been even late last week, there was a post about, hey, every time the liquidity doubles, the price does a 4x. And then he kind of outlined a few different cases about arbitrage bots, and it's not necessarily fully one-to-one. Short version of it is something like, since every doubling results in like a fourfold increase of the price, roughly 4 to the power of 6 and some change would be 100x from where we're at. So okay. I think the math worked out to basically if 600 million enters the largely pulse to stable pairings and the like, again, factoring in for arbitrage and relatively coordinated deployment, potentially that's a fairly slam dunk 100x on paper. Again, that's as we talked a little bit earlier on today's stream, there are models and then there is reality, and reality is a little more gritty and grimy. So that's part one. And we're just strictly talking about SAC wallets and liquidity injections. I've discussed nothing about users. So where I was getting a little bit of heat and somebody was saying like, hey man, you're a little too aggressive on the moon math, I was saying there's an argument, I think, on the table for potentially 33-cent pulse. I know people are friggin' falling out of their chairs. I think some other folks even have more bullish conditions. So if you look at some of the early pulse charts and you take a look at where potentially different people are counting the bottom, I've not been able to match CoinGecko's bottom, for example. They're calling for 4 zeros and 25.78 on that. I'm assuming that's pretty close to the launch of Pulse Chain on that one. Doesn't align to the charts I use. I'm counting more off of a functional bottom, or what I'm calling a functional bottom from a few months back, where it's more like 4 zeros and a 33 and like. So here's my basic assumption on this stuff. If you look at the total average number of daily wallets on Pulse Chain, we're floating around 15,000, plus minus a standard deviation of about 5,000. So just for some quick round numbers, let's say let's just make a quick round numbers. We'll say 10,000 for one standard deviation down, currently floating around 15,000 average, up through 20,000 on a high day. Let's just say that's kind of the general spread. So if we're following Metcalfe's law on the lower side of things, and Metcalfe's law doesn't fully align to cryptocurrency and networks, it's kind of a useful proximity. But basically, if you think, let's see, stage left. So if you think S curves, right, you have this point where you kind of ramp up, then you do the hockey stick thing, and then it kind of levels out on this. You can't grow squared indefinitely. That's probably cancer or something like that in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But, like if you're looking at, let's say you shave a little off the top, if we can bring several 100,000 users, potentially up to like, let's say 800,000 plus users, or we grow by a few 100,000 users and Sack Daddy does a liquidity injection. Yeah, I think 33 cents is on the table for a lot of that. So that'd be about a 10,000x off the bottom. Again, 4 zeros, 33 and some change. Here's the stuff that won't necessarily get represented in that number. I am not a whale or, a Poseidon or anything crazy in the system. Wish I was, but I'm not. This is not the world I live in yet. So the reality of it is, if we're doing like 33 cents or even 10 cent or 1 cent, if you got a billion pulse, you're going to let millions of dollars slip by you, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. I couldn't, I'm not saying I'm greedy or anything like that, but it's a lot of friggin' money. So just knowing how I'm going to let that slip by, right?
Dude, that would be some scary shit, Twinkie. I mean, it's one thing to have diamond hands and hold all the way to the bottom. It's another thing to have a different diamond hands and hold all the way to the top, homie. That is some scary shit, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I couldn't do it, So let's hypothetically say it does go to 33 cents and you're a whale with billions of tokens. Every billion you have is now worth 330 million. Could you let that slide by? Probably not.
I know, man.
Also, you can't cash that out at once. You'll torch the charts. So you're going to need a drip feed on that. So yeah, I think we're going to see people, especially whales, anybody who's got like a billion plus tokens, or different people have different numbers. As it gets closer to 1 cent, I expect to see people starting to sell out and taking some drip feed of profits. And I'm not sitting here saying anybody who's out there with tens of millions of tokens on Pulse Chain, Pulse X, or the like, I'm not saying, hey, look, not financial advice, do your own thing. I will reveal my strategy. Once it starts getting to like a quarter of a penny, a third of a penny, I might take, 5% off the table. Quick side note, when it comes to de-risking, basically, the sooner you de-risk, the more you mute your gains. So let's say you de-risk on a 2x, which I won't do for projects I have confidence in. I will do it for stupid little meme token plays or things that I think are way more dicey and degen. Let's say you de-risk on a 2x, you've effectively cut your future gains in half. You de-risk on a 10x, you cut your future gains by 10%. So the takeaway on that one is the longer you can safely wait to de-risk, the more you'll continue to maximize your gains. And so that is why for some of my larger bags, if I'm very confident in it, I'm not necessarily going to be taking personally 20% off the table unless the data is telling me, hey, this is the move. My plan is more like, we're starting to get within striking range of what I think some good targets are. I'm going to take 5% out this week or this day, 5% next week, rinse, repeat. And personally, my overall game plan is I'm always taking a percentage of the remaining stack. So that's my strategy on that one as far as Pulse Chain. So yeah, I think 33 cents is in the realm of possibility. Oh, also other stuff I didn't talk about. This is, for the record, speculative on my side, but we've already seen, OA and Sack Daddy make some moves. Richard could always start streaming. There's potentially unknown Pulse X upgrades awaiting in the wings, right? Maybe we get limit orders. Richard's like, hey, surprise, congratulations, I'm the best ever. Here's limit orders. Oh, a few more months go by. Hey, surprise, I'm the best ever. Here's single-sided staking on Pulse X. And he's also got a motion to dismiss coming up in a few weeks in his overall case. Yeah, he's got a lot of cards up his sleeve he can throw on the table at assorted moments in time or all at once, depending how he wants to play it. And none of these things have really happened. So I think this is me speculating. I don't know how Richard thinks. All I can do is base off of the things I've read and what I'm seeing and different patterns I'm seeing. I think he's personally awaiting us to get a little bit deeper in the bull market before he starts dropping some of these warheads on foreheads. And I'm all for it. Yes, Sack Daddy, pump my bags.
I concur, Twixters. I think people are gonna people that dumped early are gonna be in for a rude awakening, bro, because
Hose mad.
they couldn't handle the volatility and the FUD, bro. Sometimes the best thing you can do is not look at Twitter, bro, if you're a long term holder, bro. You know what I'm saying? And tell your homie, hey man, just let me know when freaking it's pumping crazy, bro. Give me a call, dude. You know what I'm saying that's probably the best avenue approach to go because if you look at Twitter, bro, oh my gosh, the FUD's
It's the
always
algorithm, man, too, right? Like,
yeah.
you start engaging with that one negative person, and all of a sudden you got 20 negative people on your feed.
Yeah, man. That's the thing about it, dude. I mean, misery loves company, bro. And people that are miserable want to bring people with them because they want them to dump. So they don't feel stupid that they're not the only ones that dumped, if anything.
Yeah, so but I know we talked off camera about some different personal situations. I'll say at this point I've got a few decades under my belt and just how I see some things a little different than how I saw things when I was younger. I got to quote my man Alex Hermosi on this one, paraphrased. Many people do not want what is best for you; they want the version of you that best serves them.
That
And
is well stated, man.
the other one he's got, again paraphrased, is many times people may try to drag you down inadvertently or willingly, and that is because many times your success is a result of choices they didn't make. They chose a different path, they made a different conclusion, ergo you are potentially successful, and potentially it means they were wrong.
Yeah, man. And sometimes family does that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying family don't want to see it. I mean, family sometimes don't want to see freaking their sons or their brothers or their sisters fucking succeed, bro. Doesn't mean you don't have to succeed, if anything.
I
Yeah,
want all our
man.
viewers and the broader Moon Gang. I would like them to succeed. That way, they can all afford the cocaine, hookers, and lawyers they could want for this lifetime or the next.
I don't know about that freaking controlled substance there, Twinksters. Aye. Twinksters, where can they find you at, man?
Yeah. At Mr. Angry Twinkie. Hit me up if you need some guitar lessons. I am weaving some musical education throughout my streams, trying to find the right balance of this stuff. Just yesterday, I was talking about some of the anti-money laundering stuff that was going on in Europe. Side note, I don't think it's anti-crypto directly. I think it's really anti-privacy and anti-anonymity. So the best thing you can do is engage with your community, right? So Boogie streams, I stream. We're part of the broader Moon Gang Collective and part of the broader DGen Roundtable Collective. We've got friends over there, all these different folks we talk with. It'll help keep you sane during some of the rides up and down. Also, we talk about different plays we're seeing on the table, different rotations and the like. So engage with the broader community. Minimally follow some people on Twitter just to see what people are saying. Don't give in the negativity. I remember Boogie and I talked like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into this, or I'm thinking about entering this farm. I'll give you an example. I won't out this individual. I was speaking with another person in the Pulse Chain community who informed me this person recently sold their home and had aped a bunch of cash into Pulse X farms and is now living off of the yield and incentive token from the Pulse X farms and looking to relocate to a more favorable tax jurisdiction. This person has now officially exited the working world and is living off of residuals on that front and just managing that person's funds. So it's very doable.
decent, homie.
I ain't quite at that level, but I'd be lying if I told you I had to think about it for a hot minute or two.
Yeah, man. I get you, dude. So, yeah, cats. Understand that crypto comes and goes, man, and the markets are just cycles, bro. It's not always going to be bullish, if anything. You know what I'm saying? All right, monkeys. Make sure you follow my homie Twinkie here. If you look at the bottom, you see his name highlighted at Mr. Angry Twinkie. That's where you can follow him on YouTube. Give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel. Help me beat this algorithm. Follow me on Instagram, US_Crypto_Boogie. Same thing on Twitter, US Crypto Boogie. And follow me on Rumble, cats. I will be back here possibly tomorrow. See where the market takes us. And I will see you monkeys on the flip side. Hit it, Twinksters.